One Zambia, one nation. Welcome to Zanis News with me, Sarah Miti. Top stories in the news. Banks approve 12 million agro loans. Milanzi gets day secondary school. 600 women to benefit from newly Mulunga maternity wing. Plus, Chief Chavula thanks government for earmarking construction of palace. The news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema says there's need for Zambia and Ghana to actualize a number of agreements that have been signed between the two countries. President Hichilema said the two countries must be able to progress with activities and arrangements agreed upon. The president was speaking when Ghanaian Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Botchway, called on him at State House today. President Hichilema noted that the long-standing relations that date back to the struggle for independence ought to continue. Bupe Sendwe now reports.
Zambia and Ghana continue to enjoy bilateral relations that date back to the post-independence era. To build on the bilateral relations, the two nations today signed two agreements in the areas of defense and enhanced cooperation.
Following that interaction between the two heads of state, there are several agreements that have been signed. But today in particular, during the visit by Her Excellency, my counterpart, the Honorable Madam Shirley Botchway, we were able to sign two specific memoranda of understanding. One relating to defense cooperation, so as to share best practice, exchange ideas, and ensure that we strengthen the relationship between the two countries, the bilateral relationship between the two countries in relation to defense and security matters. The second was in relation to the continued good relations between the two countries. We were able to also sign a third set of documents, which was the minutes of the inaugural JPCC meeting, the Joint Permanent.
President Hakainde Hichilema wants all agreements signed with Ghana to come to fruition for mutual benefits. President Hichilema said this when Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration paid a courtesy call on him at State House.
I agree with you that the MOUs we have signed as countries, irrespective of which government, but it's Ghanaian and Zambian governments, need to be brought into fruition. Actions. I keep saying to my colleagues here, we can sign documents, but really the test of the pudding is in the eating. We must be able to progress those activities that we agree in those MOUs and other arrangements that we have.
The head of state also stressed the importance of Africans assuming global leadership roles.
And this gratitude to President Nana Akufo-Addo and our appreciation of his government nominating you for an international role. Africa must sit at the decision table, the global decision table. Africa must push for the change of the financial architecture.
Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration said her country stands ready to enhance its cooperation with Zambia.
There are quite a number also of agreements that we need to finalize on our side, bring them to your side for agreement, and then we can be set. But I believe that what needs to be done is to ensure that what we've signed do not gather dust, but rather implement these MOUs and agreements, because we believe that there's a lot that we can do together as two very friendly sisterly countries. And we are prepared, and I know your side is also prepared to ensure that we make a lot of progress where that is concerned.
Bupe Sendwe for Zanis News in Lusaka.
Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tawo Kawana has urged the media to remain professional and avoid allowing people to sow the seed of tribalism and hatred using their platforms. Mr. Kawana said this in Dola when he toured Sun FM and television station on the Copperbelt province that media institutions should not allow their airwaves to be used to air messages that bring division because Zambia ascribes to the values of peace and unity. We have details in this report.
Media, as some may refer to it as a fourth arm of government, has continued to shape the public discourse in the dissemination of information for people to make informed decisions about their affairs. Minister of Information and Media Tao Kawana, who is on the Copper Belt province, together with the Independent Broadcasting Authority, took time to tour some media institutions in Ndola. Sun FM and television station was one of the media that was toured. Permanent Secretary reminded the media to continue being ethical to serve the nation better.
It's one of those stations that does not require to be reminded in terms of compliance. I think even in the heat of the moment, throughout election campaigns, heated as they get, this station does not fall culprit to a station that misbehaves by allowing people to come and preach hate speech, tribal hatred, and sow seeds of division in the country. And therefore, the kind of professional conduct that is espoused at the station is highly commendable.
Mr. Kawana is happy that visiting Sun FM and television station always brings back the memories of how they helped President Hakainde Hichilema to escape from cadres who wanted to attack him when he was in opposition.
We know that the great escape was from here.
Yes.
And therefore, even when we come here, it is like we're visiting, a monument, a historical monument. It is here that if your staff were careless, we would have had other news here. But the braveness that your staff showed here, running through our president, out through the roof, taking all that risk, but all in an effort to save him from the thugs that reign terror in this country. And today, he's sitting there and he's president. So we are very, very endeared to you as a station.
Sun FM television station manager commended the team for visiting the station.
The presenters themselves have been trained in such a way that they are able to detect malice. That's why we've kept it professional all through these years. Our editorial policy, the presenters are trained in that, and with the current dispensation, where we have radio and TV running simultaneously, we've sort of created another opportunity for other players like producers. So TV producers are now running the show alongside the presenters. So you have a two-way system of monitoring malice, which is the opan that is intended to cause havoc in the nation. So the producer is aware of who's calling, and also the presenter is listening out for anything, and they always mention that we do not promote hate speech.
The media's role in a democratic nation as Zambia is critical for the public to have access to factual information that brings unity and development. Tovini Ngombe, Zanis, Ndola.
Now, in Northern Province, the Ministry of Agriculture says banks in the region have approved over 12 million kwacha as loans for farmers in the ongoing farming season under the Sustainable Agriculture Finance Facility Program. Senior Marketing Development Officer Shikobela Musaka says 11.9 million kwacha has since been redeemed by farmers from the approved agro dealers. Geoffrey Piri gives us more in this report.
Government is implementing the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility for farmers not on the input program with the aim of improving food production and productivity. In Northern Province, farmers have taken advantage of this facility to access funding to engage in farming. The Minister of Agriculture in the province says the banks have approved over 12 million kwacha under the program.
We have, I think, over 12 million that was approved. And in terms of the vouchers that were redeemed by the farmers, we have 592. This represents the actual loans that are redeemed by the farmers, which is 592. And then in terms of the value, it comes to 11,970,000.
George Mayani is one of the beneficiaries of the SAF program in Kasama district and has cultivated over 5 hectares of land.
Ifyakubika mupamongo mufuno nomba kupitira mufyo program ibasa tuletera ko yasafu na tuwafundisha because kulelima kulima napa kulilire kuchirefu twalema konta kuno mukupantu ifyakubika munatu.
Meanwhile, agro dealers are ready to work with government to implement this program through input distribution.
This year, we positioned over 5,000 to 10,000 metric tons of fertilizer into the province for any such programs. And we've done the needful. Farmers have come, we've given them on time, and there are no delays. We stand ready even in the future to partner with government.
A Kasama resident has encouraged peasant farmers in the province to take advantage of a favorable rainfall pattern to grow more maize.
If you look at other provinces in Zambia, there is no good rainfall. Others, no rains. But for northern, Muchinga, Rwapula, we are still experiencing good rainfall. So we're inviting commercial farmers, we are inviting peasant farmers like ourselves to regroup and go seriously into farming.
Geoffrey Piri, reporting for Zanis in Kasama district.
Zambia is set to benefit from the $20 million United States soil mapping project to be undertaken in 3 countries for a period of 4 years. Acting Director for Zambia Agriculture Research Institute, Dixon Nguni, disclosed that the $20 million United States US-funded project will be shared by Honduras, Guatemala, and Zambia to conduct soil mapping research. Chai Bunkoma has the details.
To identify which elements the soil consists of is essential to know which crops and varieties fit every land plot better. It is against this background that the Zambia Agriculture Research Institute, with the support from the United States of America, will embark on soil mapping project across the country to ascertain which sort of fertilizer is expected to be used in each region according to the type of soil on land plot. The team from the Zambia Agriculture Research Institute is in Northwestern Province to share the idea.
As we are aware, PS, for a long time now, I think the last time we did soil mapping in Zambia, I can't recall when, but it was in the late 70s. And out of that work, I think we've been using the blanket application of fertilizers, like globally in this country, where we have been saying for a hectare, we need to apply like 4 bags per kg, and also 4 bags per kg of urea, which perhaps to a larger extent, yes, this has been destructive to our soils, but also to biodiversity.
But you're coming in today to get back on the drawing board, to have these soils be examined and see which type of crop can be planted in these soils. I think this is the way to go. It is going to help us even to start minimizing the issue of fertilizers.
From the program, the soil laboratories in provincial headquarters are also expected to benefit in terms of equipment.
Laboratories will be capacitated, and also that farmers who have the knowledge of what they need in terms of fertilizers. They may just perhaps need compound, but not urea, depending on the location.
Geoffrey Chomba from the Food Agriculture Organization FAO is also part of the delegation.
We are hoping that through the soil fertility and the nutrient mapping, we'll be able to make a contribution to the Zambia.
Reporting for Zanis News, I'm Chaibu Nkoma, Nswezi District, Northwestern Province.
Thank you, Chaibu, for that report. We take our first break. We have more stories when we return. Stay tuned.
Kodi kolera ndi chani?
Kolera ndi matenda othulula. Munthu amene adwala matenda ya kolera amathulula kwambiri ndi kusanza. Dothi lake limakhala ngati madzi momwe atsukira mpunga. Ndipo munthu odwala kolera, madzi mthupi lake amatha kamba kakuti iye amachoka kwambiri kupyolera mkusanza ndi kuthulula kwambiri. Munthu odwala kolera angamwalire m'maola 12 kaya kuti 12 hours ngati sanalandire mwamsanga thandizo la mankhwala.
Kodi munthu angatengere motani matenda a kolera?
Kumwa madzi adothi, kudya zakudya ndi m'manja mosasamba mwadothi kapena kugwiritsa ntchito mbale zotsukiwa ndi madzi adothi. Kudya zakudya zimene zinangosiwa mosasamala posabwinikira. Kudya zakudya zozizira zachimbala zimene sizinasungiwa bwino. Kudya zakudya zimene amagulitsa mphepete mwa misewu. Kudya zipatso ndi ndiwo zamasamba zosatsuka.
kodi kolera ingachinjiriziwe?
Gadusani madzi anu akumwa kapena kugwiritsa ntchito chlorine. Sambani m'manja ndi madzi aukhondo ndi sopo mukamaliza kugwiritsa ntchito chimbudzi. Funditsani zakudya mukalebe kuyamba kudya. Osadya zakudya zimene zimagulitsidwa mphepete mwa misewu. Muyenera kubwinikira zakudya kuopetsa kuti ntchentche zingakakeko. Nthawi zonse muyenera kugwiritsa ntchito chimbudzi. Pewani kugwiritsa ntchito machemba kapena maplastiki ngati chimbudzi. Onani kuti dothi litayiwa mchimbudzi. Nthawi zonse onani kuti zimbuzi zikhala zaukhondo ndipo nthawi zonse pambowa wa chimbudzi chanu pazikhala pobwinikira bwinobwino. Okubweretsani uthenga uyu ndi aunduna wa zaumoyo.
Welcome back. Now, the prolonged dry spell being experienced across the country has affected the performance of the maize crop in many areas, including Southern Province. In some districts, such as Gwembe and Sinazongwe, the maize is showing signs of wilting due to low soil moisture induced by the dry spell. A team of government officers led by Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet for Finance and Economic Development, Dr. Siazongo Siakalenge, are on the ground to appreciate the impact of the situation. Lakson Makoza gives us the following report.
Zambia, like many other countries in the SADC region, has not been spared from the harsh effects of the El Nino phenomenon, which has characterized the 2023-2024 farming season. Southern Province is among the regions that have been hard hit as a result of the prolonged dry spell associated with the El Nino phenomenon. Findings from an assessment conducted by a joint team of officers from the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, Ministry of Agriculture, and Meteorological Department, who were led by Deputy Secretary to Cabinet for Finance and Economic Development, revealed that some maize fields has wilted due to lack of rains. Among the districts visited by the assessment team include Choma, Gwembe, Namwala, Sinazongwe, and Monze.
The rains have not been coming. The crop has been affected at different levels due to a number of factors. The largest factor is that of low moisture in the soil. And the drought has not spared even the crop that was red castling and almost trying to form cobs.
Despite the gloomy scenario, some maize fields still look promising.
What we've observed so far is that all the crops that are not on some kind of irrigation are under substantial stress. Loss of moisture content, there isn't adequate rainfall, and this really is a very telling story in respect of potential wide-ranging food security threat for the country. So
the move taken by the government to undertake an assessment of the dry spell has been well received by the farming community.
Hakukomana maningi guhiba kuti ani tulanto omwe ababalali besa abalo bali kuti kugwembe guswa abantu so twalumbaga patino bantu amutu yeye kwakomana maningi
so ihula okuno kujo okotubedde tia wakabotu maupwatalika kuyuma mumwi ingawabweza bya machezi wakwenya wamana wayashaula yakamuliro kabotu kabotu.
For now, people can only wait and hope it rains within the next 5 days, failure to which the maize will dry up. For Zanis, I'm Lakson Makoza.
Meanwhile, farmers in Southern Province have expressed worry with the low rainfall that has characterized the 2023-2024 farming season. Some grazing lands for animals have dried up, posing a threat to the animals, while some drinking ponds and streams are already showing signs of drying up as early as February. Here's a report.
The Hakainde Hichilem's call for farmers across the country to grow more maize received favorable response from the farming community, as evidence from the large tracts of maize fields cultivated. Sadly, the poor rainfall being experienced in selected parts of the country has worked against the aspirations of many farmers whose desire is to contribute to the country's food security. Some districts such as Monze and Sinazongwe in Southern Province last received rains in January this year.
A month ago. 1 month ujinyina
mwana mapwembwa yuma soa uno ihula yalogede mu 27 January ponya February uno taininga akuwa.
The erratic rains has resulted in some drinking points for the animals drying up, which has raised concerns among farmers.
Minda ng'ombe irasakana kuyakwe minda mulonga wala kunyina atwi tuliko nothing.
Onse nenda mukalonga makakalonga mwakabona minda atali akale kumana tambiri yakuti kusikira mu April nenda anakumani debi yakushwa.
Government is already on the ground conducting assessment of the prevailing situation.
The situation we found at Munyumbwe, you can literally set the grass on fire now as if you are actually in October. It's already dry. The situation at Ntambo was equally very difficult because the grass did not even grow. And animals in months to come will also find some difficulties to survive.
A DMMU national coordinator is happy with the response from the farmers who heeded President Hichilema's call to grow more maize.
People actually had heard the presidential call to grow as much maize as they could. They heeded that advice, that encouragement, and a lot of people came on board. But it's only unfortunate that, outside of our own human interventions, the vagaries of the weather, the dry spells that we have now has put the crop under substantial stress.
Traditionally, February is a peak month when the rains intensify in most parts of the country. But this is no longer the situation, as evidenced from the delayed rains in Southern Province. For Zanis, I'm Lakson Makodza.
In Eastern Province, incoming Chadiza District Commissioner Malan Zimba has tipped farmers against redeeming farming inputs from agro-dealers without physically checking for the availability of the commodities. Mr. Zimba said it was unfortunate that a number of farmers, including civil servants, had been redeeming farming inputs from a named agro-dealer without checking whether or not the inputs were in stock. And one of the farmers, Joe Kanipiri, who received 50,000 kwacha from government, feared that the delay in accessing the inputs might cause his crops to go to waste. Here's a report.
Redeeming farming inputs before the inputs are seen has made farmers worried as they have not received the inputs. One of the farmers who got at least 50,000 using sustainable agricultural financing is worried.
Nachita apply valon fertilizer. So nachita redeem 5 packs yomweze 50,000 kwacha kuli wa judo general dealers. But intachita redeem naweza kuti nifika kutenga matumba ali 25D na 25 urea yapeze pa 29 January 2024 umufikana pano sinatengeko chinthu chilichonse. So that's why neza nabwa kuliwa DC ndandaula kuti kodi tithandizika bwanji.
The district administration is worried that more farmers will not be able to provide food security in the country.
And we want to call upon the agro-dealers to follow the simple guidelines. The simple guidelines is that you must have stock for you to redeem a farm. So that this government, these loans, they can be meaningful. Because at the end of the day, if they are given 2 months from now or a month from now, when they redeemed in January, that fertilizer is coming as useless for these farmers.
But the agro-dealer acknowledges the challenge.
The issue of fertilizer, we redeemed the fertilizer on 29th January. The shortage of stock. So after redeeming, the farmer couldn't get the inputs at the shortage. So I'm still waiting from my bosses. I'm still waiting to hear from my bosses about the inputs. When are they coming?
Jubel Zulu, Zanis, Chadiza District, Eastern Province.
School-going children in Katiula area of Milanzi constituency in Katete district of Eastern Province will soon stop trekking long distances in search of secondary education following the construction of a day secondary school by government. The 1x4 classroom block is nearing completion and has been funded at a cost of more than 1 million kwacha under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Zanis reports that this came to light when the local authority, accompanied by the Milanzi Constituency Development Fund Committee Treasurer Staff Mvula, conducted a random check of the project. Here's a report.
Walking a distance of about 25 kilometers daily,
is always a nightmare for children in need of secondary education in Katiula ward of Milanzi constituency in Katete district. This particular challenge has caused many to drop out of school. However, this will be a thing of the past, as government is constructing a day secondary school within their vicinity under the Constituents Development Fund, CDF. The development has cheered the parents in the area.
Iko kunali kuti vana mali mutapita school analutamangiro kwatiliwa chifukwa kunalibe maskuli yofunikira amaona nga akafika pa grade 7 kapena grade 4 omwe niona kuti phindu kwa omwe katezeka koma mungo mwebwera day secondary school pano pakatiula ndithu padzakhala chilimbikiso kwa wena vajana kubwerera mbuyo.
And speaking during an impromptu visit to the project, Milanzi Constituents Development Fund Committee Treasurer, Staff Mvula, expressed happiness with the progress.
Mamene naona Katiula Day Secondary School, mamene building haimangira 1x4 classroom block, ilibwino kwambira haimanga bwino pa standard emene tena lufunikira. Even if kungabwerevena amene angabwera wafuna ukaona akoza ukaona kuti abati ndrama za CDF zinasenza kulingana mamene zinaperekedwera kukatiula Day Secondary School. Secondary schools kukatiula yanali kutali. Yes. Kwa yanali kukafumbwe kumodzi usaidi uko kapoche so ana analupita long distances kuma schools yamene ali kutali.
Hope Walia, Katete District, Eastern Province.
In Northern Province, as schools opened for the first time of 2024, parents in Kasama have appealed to school authorities to devise mechanisms that will enable pupils to catch up on lost time. Meanwhile, a check at selected schools in Kasama found schools had put up stringent measures such as the provision of hand-washing facilities to prevent the outbreak of cholera disease. Tizaona Mulenga went round some schools and gives us more in the following report.
It is the second day of the new term, but classes are already in full gear. A check at selected schools in Kasama on both the first and second days found pupils learning, and school head teachers are elated with the development.
We have 365 learners that are in class. These are the ones that we have accounted for. But there are those that, like you have seen outside, many of them are being cleared, and we have not yet taken them on as having reported. So 365 girls are in class and being taught.
Cholera pandemic, which caused delays in the opening, schools have put in place stringent measures to ensure pupils are protected from the disease. At Kasama Boys, for example, each classroom has been provided with a hand-washing facility, and pupils have been strongly advised to observe proper hygiene.
At every point of need, we have put up washing points so that we can fight the pandemic.
We are very much prepared. Yes, we were informed in advance and we've put in place what is needed.
Pupils are excited about the reopening of schools and are promising to put in their best.
Teaching is quite serious, considering it's the first day. All the teachers have come that they're supposed to. We have revised a lot, especially on our recent end-of-year tests, and I can see improvement in the sanitary of the school.
Meanwhile, parents want school authorities to devise mechanisms that will ensure pupils, especially those in examination classes, recover their lost time.
Bukosereshe bakafundisha especially abale sungamiro kuya kuma exam ukulemba bufire ukusambirira sana pakutira bakave filifisambiriro fimo ifyo bapushirweko kunuma.
District Education Board Secretary James Chibuye said standard officers are going rounds to check compliance in schools. For Zanis in Kasama, Tizaona Mlenga.
Thank you, Tizaona. We take another break. We have more stories when we return. Stay tuned.
Kanti kolera kibutuku manyim. Kolera kibutuku bwakusululam. Muti yanani butuku bwakolera utasulula ni kutazam. Muti yakula butuku bwakolera usulula meza mfuta sina araisi aya kwa mutabani. mukuliyo ukatokwa mezi mwa muvili vakengesa kufufulelwa. Mukuliyo ukona kutimela mwahalalihola zelishumika zepeli haiva asafumanilikalafo zambuwa. Mutu ukona kuyambula choni butuku wa korera. Kunwa mezi asikakeniswa kapa kunwa mezi amasila. Kuchalicho ni mazo atezi masila kapa kuitusali apiso zetapisizwe ni mezi amasila. Kuchalicho zesika kwaelwa ni kuselezwa kwa linzinzi. Kuchalicho zelovezi ilizeo alisikavukelezwa hande. Kuchalicho zelekisiwa mamakululu. Kuchalitolwana manicholo ni mulo zesika tapiswa. Lukona chwani kuiselezwa kwa butuku wa korera. Kuvilisa mezi akunwa kapa kuvea mwateni chlorine. Mfutuma zelichoza mina pili musikali chakale. Mukwaele lichoza mina kaufela kulisileleza kwa linzinzi. Musike mwa chalicho za mamakululu. Mwitu sekali mbalimba nako kaufela. Mi musike mwa itusa bikopo kapa mapepa amuyumba zemasila. Mubone kuli mutabani walatelwa mwakalimbalimba. Mubone kuli kalimbalimba kamina kakenile nako kaufela manichwalo ni kukwaelwa. Lingosale litakumina kuzwa kubalikolo la makete.
Welcome back, and we continue with the news. Limulunga District Health Office has commended the government for finishing the construction of a maternity wing at Limulunga Mini Hospital under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF). Currently, the mini hospital is using a structure designated for a mother's shelter as a maternity wing. Acting District Health Director Mubiana said 662 expectant women are expected to have access to maternal health services. Stella Goma has the details in this report.
Limulunga Mini Hospital will soon open its door to the newly constructed modern maternity wing under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. This development is a result of the recent directive by President Hakainde Hichilema that all healthcare facilities in the country should have maternity annexes and running water.
We made sure that during the approval of projects for the financial year 2022 and 2023, a number of projects in the Ministry of Health under Limulunga were going to be attended to. The first one is the maternity wing, which is maternity annex that was done. It's waterborne. It has waterborne toilets. It has showers. We have tiles. It has ceiling board to make sure that the environment is clean. And these are the standards that we are replicating everywhere where we are going to undertake the same. So we constructed this facility at a cost of 341,868. Apparently it was constructed by a lady, a company that is owned by a lady. The president has emphasized much that we don't need to see our mothers struggling.
The District Health Office has applauded government for the new structure.
The coming of the new maternity annex will be able to have a designated maternity annex where we are going to be able to provide all the services surrounding the safety of pregnancy and the childbirth. So this will actually also promote the provision of quality care health services in line with the presidential priority and the directives. We are now seeing the fruits of the constituency development funds. We had a lot of challenges before the CDF was actually increased, but at the moment we are able to see various projects and also support in various areas. So we thank the government of the day, led by His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema.
It's a positive atmosphere to our community, because initially we've been using a temporary shelter, a mother's shelter, which had no running water, no toilets. So this time the new facility has been brought up with the running water, toilets, and just the new outlook of the new structure. I'm quite doing we're using now is even leaking. So it's always a challenge during the rain seasons. This one, it will give us a plus. Yes. And from the maternity annex, we even managed to bought an ultrasound scan, which we are going to have a training very soon. Because we'll be offering our services, like before we refer to Lewanika in case of an emergency, we'll be doing our own scans here before we refer. So we have a consolidated referral
Residents are happy with the development, which is expected to benefit 662 expectant mothers in 2024.
Auta kwa spimo, bami famisikito, bami alafande, bami utali tuto, bami eleza mwakweza mkutumima, asuti akakweza chonfa kupulwa ata kwa sipate sekana, kupona kui, balu tusaluli. Tumia kwa muso kuze, zose kweza muso.
Stella Goma reporting for Zanis in Limulunga District, Western Province.
Newly recruited teachers who have been deployed under the replacements have started receiving their appointment letters. The teachers who have come from different provinces are collecting their employment letters from the National Science Center in Lusaka. One of the newly recruited teachers, Brian Hiongo, told Zanis in an interview that he was grateful to government for employing him after waiting for 10 years. And another newly recruited teacher, Naomi Chansa, said her dreams have finally come to pass. While another teacher, Francis Walia, advised the Ministry of Education to give each province a day when to verify their academic qualifications and also to collect their appointment letters. Mr. Walia said once this is done, it will help reduce the confusion and congestion which is currently happening at the center. Early last month, the government recruited over 7,000 teachers across the country.
I'm very grateful to the new Dawn government, President Hakainde Hichilema, the able leader, President, for giving us this wonderful job. We have been waiting for this job, for some of us, for 10 years, 20 years, maybe to some of our friends. But we are very grateful that today is our day. We are very, very grateful.
At least as I stand today here, I'm happy because I'm among those who be recruited this year.
We are giving in much appreciation to our president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to giving us this opportunity to join the government. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, thank you so much.
To the government, I am really thankful that they have given us this opportunity to be here and also to give us these jobs. And thank you so much, and may they continue to help more Zambians.
Chief Chabula of Lupososhi District in Northern Province thanks President Hakainde Hichilema for considering his chiefdom for the construction of a palace. Chief Chabula was not on the initial plan of traditional leaders whose chiefdoms were earmarked for the construction of the palaces. However, President Hichilema, while in Lupososhi District, made a presidential pronouncement to construct a palace in Chief Chabula's area. We have details in the following report.
Traditional leaders are key stakeholders in the developmental agenda of the country. This is why government is enhancing their living and working environments through the construction of modern palaces. Chief Chabula of Lupososhi District is among the traditional leaders in Northern Province who will benefit from the construction of a new palace. The traditional leader took a Zanis staff on a guided tour of the site earmarked for the construction of the palace.
Taimu mukesa tefe mukapasange pantu bakateka ba echechi nabampela kwa geni kuli fifango file kurwa inenshalipo nomba uruserwa bakateka ba echechi nabalanda ili batandele mu Lupososhi mwambile po echipango chaba chabula so ndi wansansa ko buteko ngapafyo mumwene taimu mukesa mukasanguko ni shikuli bwino so ekutotela feko ndetotela sana kuli bakateka beso.
Northern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Lewis Mwape advised the contractors to ensure quality and timely delivery of the projects.
So in Lupososhi we have two palaces, Chief Katuta on the west, and on the east we have Chief Chabula, and they will soon start constructing the palaces. So we want to ensure that these projects are delivered in time within the premises of project management, which is cost, quality, and also time delivered. These are principles that are driving our infrastructure development.
Government is constructing palaces in all the 10 provinces of the country in order to provide decent housing for traditional leaders befitting their status in society. Helen Bwalia reporting for Zanis.
That item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, here's a reminder of top stories. Banks approve 12 million agro loans. Milanzi gets day secondary school. 600 women to benefit from newly Mulunga maternity wing. Plus, Chief Chavula thanks government for earmarking construction of palace. And that is all we had for you on Zanis News. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.